Okay, we're going to start with a video and audio check before we get into this. So let us know if you can hear and see okay. So, well, no comments, so we'll just start anyway. Namaste, welcome to Satsang. Just to review, Satsang is not an event. It is kind of more of a way of life. It's a way that you can live. It's a way that you can attune. Of course, if your life is very unattuned in that way, externally and internally, then maybe external event, satsang type events are what you have, which is, a good step in the right direction. So with satsang, it's focusing on that which is eternal. When you hear somebody trying to define what truth is, usually that just comes out according to interpretation. But it's another way of speaking about attuning to that which is eternal, that which is perennial. So something that's perennial is beyond time. So it's not a part of, I don't want to say not a part of, but it didn't happen when Earth was created, and when Earth is destroyed, it won't go away. So what is true, what is eternal, is not subject to the laws of nature, the three gunas, the different forms or aspects of the material nature. So it's a time for you to kind of get out of your head and get out of your heart, but in the normal ways, the emotional ways, and drawn into too many dramas and things like that. But in a way to get out of the head, get out of the stories, get out of the lower emotions, and into the spiritual heart. It's a time for you to reattune to that which is eternal, and to focus on, therefore, that which really matters, which, funny enough, is kind of immaterial, kind of beyond matter. So when you focus on something that great, that kind of indestructible, that perfect, that pure, that pristine, you pick every positive quality, you could say, if you want to take it down to qualities, and imagine every positive, perfect quality there. And you're focusing on that which is within you, this infinite love, which is not trapped in you. I'm not saying you as this body, not even saying you as a soul, as a little carrying case of energy. I'm not saying you as a mind or a personality, or your little physical heart, or your emotional heart, or your subtle energetic heart, or even your spiritual heart, but something much more vast than that. So at your foundation, your basis level, you are this perennial truth. You are the Sat. We all are. We forget this, and we get so stuck into the dream, into the Maya of it all, that we kind of just don't remember anything other than what's our to-do list. What do I need to do? If you have kids, do I have to take them to school? Do I need to get a babysitter? What are my responsibilities? I got to make breakfast, got to make lunch, got to make dinner, got to do this, got to go to the office. There's so many things to do. And it occupies so much of the bandwidth of the mind. And because of this increased bandwidth absorption into that which is not the eternal. Not that it's not actually, it is, but you have to understand its true nature to say that. So for 99.9 repeating percent of all souls on earth, that is not the case. We don't have a mind where we just naturally see the divine. What we see when we see a chair is a chair. We don't see God. When we see the floor, we see a floor, we don't see God. When we see a human, we see a human, we don't see God. When we see a dog or a tree, we don't see God. We see a tree or a dog. So we have to get past that kind of way that we have branded everything to such a small, finite, material form type nature, and we're forgetting the truth, the essence, the sat, that which is perennial. So if your body comes and goes, the truth remains. If your emotions come and go, truth remains. If your thoughts come and go, truth remains. If your sanity comes and goes, truth remains. If your health comes and goes, truth remains. If your relationships come and go, if your marriages come and go, if your children come and go, if your dearest friends come and go, if you come and go, the truth still remains. So everything that we focus on in our life is not that which remains. We're focusing on that which is changing. If you focus on everything being change and accept change, you find an eternal presence or stillness within the constant change. So that which is not still, that which is constantly changing, you find stillness within it, throughout it. And that's important to have that integrated aspect of awareness through this life. It's often that people don't have the awareness and then also don't have it integrated in life. It's not that any of the saints or masters before have said that you can't do it. You certainly can, or they wouldn't waste their time teaching, right? But you have to see what you do and kind of, if it's not helping you focus on the perennial truth, that which is eternal, then you have to kind of unwind the way that you do it. It doesn't mean if you have a family, don't do the family. If you have bills to pay, don't pay the bills. It's not saying check out of life. It's saying re-understand what life really is. Where is it coming from? What is it going back to if you need that type of mental ideation? It's fine to focus it that way. Somebody who is really into Advaita would try to rip that apart and make it kind of a wrong practice, but it actually is totally fine. It's all within the scope. Anything that's in the scope is fine. And it eventually leads to the same non-dual realization. So we have to look at life how we need to remind ourselves of something that is closer to the eternal. To say that the eternal is there, you're going to find your own way to do that. And that might be quite complicated. If you're trying to focus on the divine as nirgun, which is beyond the qualities of life, beyond any conditions, beyond any aspect, any nature, any material, you're going to have quite a hard time because your mind and your heart don't understand anything other than sagun. And that's kind of a lofty way of even putting it. We're so unaware of most forms. So to be aware of God as all forms is beyond us. We're just trying to be aware of forms in our life and not be checked out or out to lunch. We're trying to be plugged in and attentive, and also understanding what the nature, the true nature, the eternal nature is of everything. So when we do this, we have to come with love and softness, sweetness and care, compassion, connection, goodness. We have to. The only way you really want to get to know something is because you care enough to want to get to know it. If you look at something and you don't care about it, you don't care to get to know it. And I'm not just saying personally, but you don't get to know the real essence of that being. If someone said that in that rock there is God, and it was a true statement, and you have to believe it, but if you really believed it, then you would want that rock. If somebody says they're inside of a cross or inside of a statue of a saint or inside of a temple, there is God, without a doubt, for certain, and you believed it, you'd do anything to make the pilgrimage, make the connection. And that's really the beauty, is that when we see something of high value, we want it. We end up wanting things, though, that are part of the changing nature. So we want things, we want money, we want new jobs, we want interesting things and habits and hobbies, and we want to be a part of things, and then we don't want to be a part of things, we want to be a part of other things. So we get so stuck into the things that we forget to focus on the eternal or changeless nature, which is supporting the manifestation of all of these things. And that is getting us, stuck on the wrong things, so to speak. It's not that the things are wrong, it's the way that we focus on them is without the truth, without the eternal understanding. Not that it can truly be understood, but that level of attunement, and again, not that one can really attune to it, but that movement in that direction towards the unknown is basically moving, the infinite unknown, not just the unknown. Like, I don't know about some artwork. I don't need to know everything about it to move towards the unknown, because I don't know it. I can forget it and go somewhere else. I can look into nature. I can look into myself. You can look into anything. What you're looking for the unknown is that which is, in a way of speaking, unknowable. You are looking for something that you are, not that you can know about, not that you can know by connection with, but what you actually are. What is your truth? What is your Sat? So that is what it is to really open the heart. It's to be fully open to the investigation, and also to honor every single being that has ever brought forward truth. It doesn't matter if it's called truth, but anyone who's reminded you of something positive, family member, friend, puppy dog, wife, flower, Swamiji, Hanuman, Mala, bell, anything. Typically, if it looks more spiritual, you'll probably, chances are, be reminded faster. If it looks like a tree, you may not connect to God. If you really find God in nature, you might find it more so in a tree than you would in a statue or in a picture or a guru or whatever the case may be. So we want to treasure and honor every single form as a doorway to this deep understanding. So it doesn't matter the tradition, the saint, the non-saint that said something wise even though they didn't have the wisdom to back it up. It doesn't matter where you get help. The point is, we're being helped. So the elements help you every day. Every day you breathe a little bit more. So you can't say you're not being helped. Every day the fire element keeps your metabolism burning, keeps your neural transmission going, keeps your body temperature up so that you can continue to exist. And so many more things, allows you to see, and so on and so forth. So every single element is supporting your journey. The earth element allows for the substance to remain, the water element as well, the liquid quality. So all of these things are there. The space lets you kind of sit within it. So you're being hugged by the universe constantly. You may not notice that, and you may feel it like being poked instead. But the universe isn't trying to harm you or poke you, it's trying to love you, hug you, help you. If you turn more towards it with that awareness, it works more like that. If you turn away from it and refute it, it works more like, not that it is, but what we feel it to be is more like almost an adversary. Like the universe is against us, the cosmos is against us, God is against us. That's how people create these thoughts. But when you look into the tradition of so many beings that have found any quality of truth, any level of alignment, and they said, hey, this is so valuable, you must know that this is actually what's possible for you. That's pretty phenomenal. So again, it doesn't matter if it's a part of a religious way of thinking that you have or not. The fact that some being, not just one, but multiples, so many that we don't even know, can't keep count. Some aren't known, and some are known, and some are known or saying a little bit. Some that are not known have said so much. Some that are not known have maybe never been heard of, but they've said a lot, but only to a few people. So you never really know, but this is setting the stage. It's like the emanation of that quality of truth is imprinted into this realm, or revealed in this realm more so that you have a better chance, so that you have access. These beings don't have to speak. They don't need to teach. One could say it's their dharma, so there's that. So I could argue, but they don't need to. It's not like a requirement that they have to do something to help. It's because that they have recognized the truth in everything. They are the embodiment of love and grace, kindness, compassion, goodness, and helpfulness. So when you think about all of these helpful forces, whether this divine kind of aspect functioning through all of these forms still being divine, but we don't recognize it, so we'll have a hard time often seeing that to be the case. So at least looking at it like there's this graceful presence that is operating through all of the forms at any time, really at all the time, but at any time, at least, where when you're attuned to it, you kind of get the scent, you get the feeling of it, you get the assistance. When you're looking towards all the busy work in your life, you miss it all. So that's why we sit and meditate. It's not to just try to shut things off, which most people see it to be. It's more to re-understand, reattune to the real principle of life. And when you really understand, and you're always in understanding, which is an experiential state, not a thought-based informational understanding. When you're in an experiential state of understanding, that it is your beingness, then you're always in that meditation. You see these principles always, through yourself, through everyone else, and it's just an interaction of the loveliness of the universe. Even when there's a lot of difficulties going on. There's no loss of understanding of the complexities of life and the difficulties that each seeming soul must weather. But there is this depth of love, truth, and compassion that is always there, always remains. So then when you are opening your heart to try to open it like a lot of people do, okay, let's do something to open the heart. You don't need to. You just need to know that you are loved. You are being taken care of. The more you tune to that which is taking care of you, by recognizing that it is trying to take care of you, it is always there to take care of you. It always loves you. It always treats you right. It always does what it can to assist you. The heart opens naturally when you feel like you're being loved or cared for. It's like if you have someone tells you about this person, and this person, they say, well, this person said a bad thing about you. Then it's kind of like, you don't even know, you weren't even a part of the experience, but you start to contract and feel, oh, really? And if it goes the other way, oh, this person, they love you, they think you're amazing. Both of those responses are actually within the realm of the ego. So they're both not the true truth. However, you can work within this fabric of your own process to get a deeper sense of what true love may be. True love would still be there, whether or not somebody says something kind or unkind to you. True love you'll still experience. So when we're trying to open our heart, we want to tune into this conditionless, objectless ecstasy, this beautiful love, where you see everything as loving, and you will feel the love, and you will act loving. If you see everything without trying to see the love in it, you won't find it loving, and so you won't feel loved. You'll feel like everything's harsh, everything's difficult, life is cruel. Why is it like this? Why is it like that? So for today's satsang, for opening the heart, it is something where, I would say most people see it as like there's a thing to do, like open it. You can do practices, and there are ways of opening it like that, but if you have a correct understanding, a true depth of I get it, your heart's opened. You don't need to do much. You just need to understand, see clearly, and you will feel the love, if you want to say of God or of the divine or of the Shakti or whatever term you want to put. You will feel the love everywhere, cosmic love. Not coming from someone. Yes, it comes from someone, but it didn't start from them and it won't end with them, so it didn't really come from them. So then you may feel and see an emanation from that soul, but you realize the truth of it. It didn't start and stop there. So in a sense, it's irrelevant. But to use that term can sound a little cold, like not respecting the love, which is not what I'm intending or meaning. But when you understand, you see the love that comes from someone, and you can appreciate that, but at the same time, it's felt always anyway. So there wasn't an increase or a decrease because that soul chose to animate in a loving way. If you animate in a loving way, you will feel it as an increase or a decrease. And for 99.9 repeating % of the sadhakas out there, it's required to be loving. If we are not loving, we will feel cold, we will feel heartless, we feel disconnected. We may feel so disconnected, we may misinterpret it as detachment. We may feel such a vast, clear, calm state of mind level of meditation and various samadhis in that zone that we may misinterpret it as that's it. Meanwhile, the heart's not working correctly. So we can bring the spirit, the spark, back into the heart by recognizing that everything is naturally loving. When we don't recognize it, we don't feel the love, then we feel irritable, and then we act out according to all those ways of not getting our needs met. But if we realize that we felt the love, we felt the protection, we felt the joy, we felt the bliss of life, then you don't feel like you need anything. You feel like you're protected and all is good. So then you're not acting from a place of irritation or kind of like your needs weren't being met. You're met. You're so met you can't be met again. You're done. You've met the beloved and all is taken care of. You're within the hands of the divine Shakti and all is good. So I think when people think of spiritual practice, it's either just service, just devotion, or just like some mental level of meditation. And it's like, why does it have to be so split into pieces? It was never intended that way. If you have the ability to open fully in all directions, why not do that? Adhyatmic. So why not grow in all directions? Why would it be limited in one way or the other way? Why not let it be full? So if somebody offers you 1% love or 100% love, how much do you want? Do you want a little bit or a lot? And so most people wouldn't say 1% is fine. If we don't believe we can have 100%, we might say 1% is fine because we have other issues we need to work out. The thing is, you're allowed to have 100%. You don't need to run out. When you recognize 100%, then the love isn't in you or out of you. It's in both simultaneously with no marker or division in between. So it's everywhere. So this is non-dual love. So then everything feels like it's compassion, living compassion. It's all living grace. It's all spirited. It's all magical. It's all perfect. It's all just as it should be. And yet you still represent the goodness. You still represent the love. You still represent devotion. You still represent meditation. You still represent yoga. You represent whatever you represent, but across the board as much as possible. Not even by trying anymore, but just by your own nature. There's definitely a lot of trying on the path, of course, but when you kind of just flow into that, it's all taken care of. First step is finding the river of grace to jump into. The second is convincing yourself it's okay to jump in. Put a toe in, pull it out, put a toe in, put it out, touch it with your hand, pull it out, get up to your knees, get out, it's too cold. I can't handle this. Then you jump in and you flow. And you still probably get fear arising and you want to cling to the banks, but you got to just keep letting go, let the river take you wherever it's going to take you. Sadhana is a way of maintaining the connection and kind of, I don't want to say discipline, but the one-pointed direction of where the flow of God or grace or the divine path will take you. And then so we allow that to flow, and then eventually when it meets the ocean and merges with the ocean, once you're kind of going that way, you're gone. There's nothing to do. So when you have a lot of love in your heart, it feels like your life is just flowing. Nothing has to be done. You might do a lot, but it feels like everything is so perfect and open and just right and just as it should be and magical and beautiful, and that's what everyone's life should be. It should be a representation of all that is good. And we only do the things that don't look good and don't act good and don't think good and don't speak good. We do those things when we feel somehow we've been shorted or cheated or we haven't had our needs met. We're reacting to that. But if we can change our perception and see that spiritually we are full, we are fulfilled, always have been. You just have to turn back to recognize that. You feel a full heart, full mind, full joy, full bliss. Everything feels good. Life is good. Everyone is good. They may not act good to you, but that's irrelevant. They may love you, may hate you. That's irrelevant, because you feel love everywhere. And the only, thing that's different in their experience is they don't feel the love everywhere. So then they have other things manifest for them: hatred, anger, aggression, frustration, jealousy, whatever it may be. But we don't have to be like that. We can just be nice. We can be loving. We can recognize the God in everything and everyone. So to open the heart, just see God everywhere, or look for God everywhere, or just know that God is there, and know all the beautiful teachings that have come from, all over, every country. Probably teachings have been dispensed in air, in water, on earth, in fire. It's been dispensed everywhere. So when we can just love the fact that we've been given so much, how can we just not be overflown with immense levels of love, certainty about our evolutionary possibilities, and gratitude and humbleness too? It's like, I can't even complain. Everything's been given to me. If you're looking for it to be given to you in your hands, you might, want to change the way of thinking and look in your heart, look in your head, look in your mind. When I say mind, I don't mean head at all, but I'm just saying it now. So when we open during satsang, it's, I know a lot of people say in association with the truth, or like a group of people talking about the truth, but if you're not clear on truth, there's no satsang. Like, these are fundamental principles that are required in order to hold satsang, or to be in a satsang, or to think about satsang. Your whole life can be converted into one, just like your whole life can become a prayer or become a meditation. You don't need to do it at various times or intervals in your life, unless you're so unattuned in those portions of your life that you feel like you need extra focus and help. Then that's most of our life, so then we just keep doing it. So then the beauty of opening the heart is we use all of this as tools to do it. So we puja, and chanting, and music, and art, creativity, and service. All of these inspire. They all make you feel good. Like, not saying that when we do it, but when you do it, when any of us do it. When you serve someone and you step out of a self-centered way and you just say, I'm just going to help this person, they really need help, and I feel for them. At the end of that, don't tell anyone that you did it, and you just feel good. If you go out telling people how much you're helping people, that value goes quick. It's like you turned on the drain and you lost everything. It's your own personal little secret with God. God, I'm doing this for you. And then you help the person. You help the animal. You help nature. You help the tree. You help whatever you can do. So you do what you can to kind of be involved in that attunement, that connection, that divine force, and it will participate with you, lovingly, gracefully, helping you all the way through your entire life. So think about all the ways one of your practices can be for the week. Think of all of the ways in which you can, add something positive, that reminds you of kind of this beautiful truth. I was going to say remind yourself of the beauty, but a lot of people take it very superficially, and they think of the beautiful people or the beautiful events or the beautiful things in their life, but very superficially. Everything is beautiful. So, Satyam Shivam Sundaram. So, everything, this truth that is everything, oneness, this Shiva, this pure consciousness that is always available, always present, is always everything. That is the beautiful truth. So we want to get to this place where we attune naturally. Until then, it's a bit of a process. You have to try to attune. You literally have to make an intention and try to attune. The more that you make it a habit, the more it happens naturally, and then you don't have to try anymore, and it just flows. In the beginning, that you have to try because you want, honestly how it goes is you want so much from the world. Or you don't want anything from the world because you hate it, or you don't like it, or you're turning away from it because it's not fun. Both of those are unhealthy ways. We need to love the world and see it as helping us, guiding us, assisting us in our process, giving us the tools so that we can use this spiritual inspiration to propel us forward. Everything is helping you. The things that look good, helping you. Things that don't look good, they're helping you too. And these beings may be doing it with or without conscious recognition that they're there to help you in some way by manifesting or creating some event for you. So just take that, kind of into a deeper state of thought, contemplation, and in the heart. Think about how much you've been loved and cared for, if not by people, because if you think about people, sometimes you might just get more upset. But there's a magical force, so to speak, that is around you. This graceful force cannot fail you. If you feel like you're connecting to it and it's not helping you with certain things, that doesn't mean grace is failing you. It means your karma is coming up and it's restricting the levels to which you can participate with the divine. But as it purifies, you become closer attuned and things work out better. Not always that they have to work out better. If your whole life fell apart and enlightenment was the result of that, that's beautiful. If you want enlightenment, but your whole life works out for you and you don't get enlightenment, then you can kind of see, I don't want to say it's not beautiful, because everything is, but you didn't get what you really wanted to. So the importance is knowing what you want and aligning with that principle. So satsang is about learning to know what you really want. You want to be, recognizing or living in the fullness of your own life, loving life and attuning to that and just letting life flow in this beautiful, infinite, graceful way. So we'll start by the formal side of the satsang, by just recognizing Swamiji and even though we have Ganesh and Hanuman and Swamiji, this in our minds it's not like a limited thing. Like they're all here, all the gods, goddesses, all the representatives of the divine, all the sages, yogis, Patanjali, everyone, just fill in the name that you wish that helps you. So this is a very full, it's all like, as I'm saying, it's just, that's what your life should be, filled with this knowledge. Let's see. This is one of the ways in which we attune. You can do it any way you want. Bring it to your eyes, your senses, your head. You can bring it to your heart. You can bring it through the whole body. It is up to you. You can even wish it to go to your family and friends, and not just people in need. People often think about prayer as for people in need. Everyone's in need. That's why we're on earth. None of us are spiritually sane people. We all have some crooked thoughts, some off emotions. We have some inaccurate ways of seeing. That's totally fine. So we're here to work through that. So send it to anyone, loved ones, strangers, next door neighbors. There's no limit. You just keep sending good energy. So. So with all that we do tonight, and just try to just think, if you can, constantly through this, about all of the wonderful, beautiful aspects in every part of life and nature. Whether or not you like what it looks like, or what it sounds like, or what it is, or what it represents, you have to honor the God within. That maybe the character or the nature or whomever, whatever, doesn't recognize within itself. Our job is to see the truth in everything. That is more what it means to be a truth seeker. We are looking for this truth that we were just pointing to in everything, without exception. So whenever your mind says, no, it can't be in that person, I don't even know if I like them, that's your job to work it out. You have to find it. It's there. There's a purpose. There's a divine purpose and reason and meaning for all of that. So for this one, this is going to be more practice. They're all practice oriented, but in this way, we're chanting Hridayam for opening the heart. So if you want, you can also mix it with a visualization of the heart just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And also you can add in a contemplation. What if it was so big that it couldn't get any bigger, that it was infinite in size? So there was no even size for it anymore. It wasn't big or small or anything in between. So try to contemplate on really what the cosmic heart means. So we'll be chanting as a way to open the heart.
So we're going to chant the Hanuman Chalisa together.
There you go. That's it.
Yeah.
Oh, you sit there. You sit. Okay, that's good.
Just giving you a moment to get your chalisas out if you would like to follow along. दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते, सुगम अनुग्रह तुम्हारे तेते। राम द्वार तुम रखवारे, होत न भाग्य बेटु बेसा। सब सुख लहे तुम्हारी सरना, तुम रक्षक कहो हो डरना। आपन तेज समारो, आपे दीनो लोक हांकते कांपे।
think it's this one. Let me know first. Yeah, that's it. More? We're good. May the energy of Satsang go with you throughout your week, throughout your life. May Swamiji's grace be with you, guiding you, leading you, and continually opening your heart, and also giving you the gyan, the deeper experiential wisdom, the seeing of all things as they are. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
And just a couple of quick announcements before we close for tonight, which I'm sure you all already know. We have the June 20th Summer Solstice and International Yoga Day and Father's Day. Three things that we're celebrating. In the morning we have a session with Swamiji, so we'll do that celebration with him from 9 to 11 our time, and info about that is on the Adhyatmic website, so if you'd like to join us for that, it will be streamed via Zoom, so that'll be nice. Rather than a telecast, we get to actually see him, which is always really wonderful. And then that evening we're doing an in-person concert satsang. It feels funny to say concert, but we put concert. Satsang, it's a satsang concert at Taft Gardens here in Ojai, which is a beautiful, beautiful place. It's kind of amazing that, we have that opportunity to be there for solstice. And obviously, ideally, it would have been nice to do those kinds of things at the sanctuary, but unfortunately, I guess it's just not time to host things like that up there to the public, and also there's no power and those kinds of things. So ideally, of course, sanctuary would have been the best, but I'd say this is also next best thing, that we get to be outside in nature together and in person. So we haven't been doing any in-person events just because everything that's been going on, and we've been more or less been just playing it safe and being on the careful side. So now everything's kind of opening up again, and the gardens is open for public events, so that will be a really, really lovely thing to be together again in person. And for those of you who won't be joining us because you don't live anywhere near here, we will have you in our thoughts, and we'll miss you that evening, but we know that your presence will be with us. That'll be a very sweet way to celebrate the solstice together. And there is limited attendance for that event, just because the gardens, this is one of their first events that they're putting on as they're opening up again to the public. So we thought to keep it a little bit of a smaller event. So if you have any friends or anyone that that would that you think would like to celebrate the solstice in that way, just walking around the gardens and being in nature, and then also just having some contemplative music and having a little satsang to connect to the energy of the solstice and Yoga Day and Father's Day in that way, then please feel free to share with them, and to reserve your spot, and as quickly as you can, so we can plan for your attendance. And we will have no satsang this coming Sunday, and no satsang on Wednesday as well, as we'll be preparing for those things and several other things. Sure. So and
the Hanuman Chalisa song that we just did,
yeah,
but with much more kind of added in there. We will be finishing actually the production on that song and releasing it as a single.
Yeah.
And so that will be coming out really soon.
Really be fun.
Hopefully very soon.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll be fun to enjoy together. So, yeah, I think that's it. Thank you all again for joining us in Satsang. And we'll see you all soon. Have a good